Hello, Joel Pognar here. Hope that you're doing well. Wishing you health and safety. I'm here in Cleveland, Ohio, speaking to you from home. I'm making some coffee here and about to watch the new episode of Living the Classical Life. And wanted to let you know a little bit about what you're about to see, which is we recently had the opportunity to film an episode unlike any that we've presented before. So not specifically a classical musician guest, although probably you'd be surprised to find out not so different from what you've seen before. So this is the extraordinary Broadway singer Melissa Errico in conversation with her father, Dr. Michel Errico, who, in addition to being a well-known doctor, is also an extraordinary pianist. So I wasn't the host on this occasion, but I had a lot of fun just sitting back and listening to them speak and perform, and I hope that you will enjoy this too. We had actually a technical issue with one of the cameras that day, so we had to work with only one of them. And that wasn't ideal, but this is such a special feature that we really wanted to present it to you, especially now. And in the meantime, we thank you so much for watching, for your support, and we wish you well in moving forward. Thanks so much for staying in touch.
Hi, I am Melissa Errico, and this is my father.
Michel Errico.
And this is Living the Classical Life. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them howling, I don't care, I've got ways. Gonna dare. Others can desert you, not to worry. Whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them howling, I don't care, I've got ways. No one's gonna hurt you, no one's gonna dare. Others can desert you, not to worry. Whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but in time, nothing can harm you, not while I'm around. You like that?
I did. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you rolling? Yep. All right, so Dad, what are we doing on a classical music program? People are going to wonder, what are we doing here?
Well, I belong on a classical music program.
Excuse me, of course you do. No, I think we're on a classical music program because you play classical piano so beautifully. And I mean, correct me, this is how I remember. I have my childhood and you have my childhood. We have it in different experience. I remember as a child, you coming home from work. Obviously, you're a great surgeon. But always were a pianist since you were a little boy, and you always raised me with this vision of you as loving the piano, loving music. As a child, you wanted me to have that in my own life, but then I saw it in your everyday life. You were playing the piano when you came home from work for hours. But beautiful stuff, Chopin and Rachmaninoff and temperamental things if you were in a bad mood.
I think I spent your whole teenage year playing the Chopin First Ballade for you, okay?
Oh, what's it about? Why? Was I in a good...
You remember that?
How was that supposed to affect me as a teenager? It was just like karma, like good energy through the house?
Oh, well, you know, it's...
Soothing?
It's a passion. It's just there's passion in that music that you can bring out in the way you sing, and I think it's because not because, but I think it was enhanced by the fact that you heard all that beautiful Chopin melodic music, and I played it from my heart. Okay, and you
and
heard it.
And then Mom's this
all
amazing
the time.
artist, and the personality, and the costumes, and loves stories. I think
Absolutely.
I'm a mishmash of both of your
Yeah.
sort of. I don't know, other selves.
And I played for you and I played to you, but I really played to your mother. That was really fun.
That was really fun.
And I've always enjoyed, I mean, you know, one of the things you've always kind of asked me to do is to come in and play your encores at the end of the show, okay? And so I've played for you at Joe's Pub, at the Algonquin. I've played just about
every concert hall everywhere.
Every concert hall, the Carlisle we did. Okay, you did 24
It's
nights.
a shtick we've got. You know, my dad's in the audience.
Yeah. We did 24. You did 24 nights at the Carlisle, and I did 21 nights of your
Encores?
Of your
Oh my
encores.
God! Did I give you any money?
Of course not. I got a free drink, I think. But so I want to go back to ask you something. Okay, I took you to see On Your Toes. Okay.
You sure did.
Yeah.
We had a little fight.
That's what I was going to ask.
We want to tell everyone about our little fight?
You tell about the fight, and then...
All right, you took me to On Your Toes.
On
we
Your
had
Toes
a fight because I was having so much fun.
Right. Well, no, go ahead.
No, I was being spoiled.
You were being spoiled, yes.
Okay.
And you were 12.
I was 12,
Okay.
and so for everyone out there, my father took me to see On Your Toes for my birthday, and I mean, this is the serious thing, is that I literally loved what I saw.
I know you did.
I loved what I saw so much. And at intermission, I wanted to go to the concessions and get the tote bag.
Right.
that
After
said-
an expensive dinner and all that kind of
Right.
expensive tickets.
Right. I wanted a tote
Right.
bag, and you said I'd gone too far. So
So my question
I got
is...
the tote bag, though.
Yeah, I got the tote bag because Mom
Mom.
came in and snuck it to you.
Okay, but the important part of it is not so much that I wanted the tote bag. Actually, this story could go even further, which is that when I was older, my beautiful sister, I have two beautiful siblings, my amazing musician brother, and Melanie, who's a fashion designer, renovated that tote bag, knowing this family history, and sewed it and cleaned it and presented to me as adults as a Christmas present once. So this tote bag is a huge family story. But the point being that was a Rodgers and Hart musical, and I was watching it and I started to weep.
Right.
I cried and cried because it was the
So what I want
most
to know...
beautiful thing I'd ever seen, and I wanted to become an actress as a result.
What I want to know is, am I forgiven for not buying you the tote
Tote
bag?
bag.
I don't know. Am I forgiven yet?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Probably
Maybe that's
never
one of
was.
those things,
Okay.
I'm never going to resolve. But I loved the show so much because it was jazzy, elegant. Rodgers and Hart really touched me. I was a little girl and I started to cry. I remember Mom not knowing why I was crying so hard. And I remember the sentence that I said to Mom quietly, who are these people and how did they get there? I literally saw a Broadway show and I thought, you guys had, I mean, this is like, look, I'm a mother now, 3 kids. This is a eureka moment. You hope for all your children. So
There was another eureka moment for me with you, and that's when you were at Friends Academy, okay? And you got picked to do the lead role
And Bye Bye Birdie.
in Bye Bye Birdie, okay? And out of nowhere, you got picked, and there was a magic that somebody saw, okay? And then I saw you up on the stage, and I said, oh my God, this could actually happen, okay?
Yeah.
I remember it.
Mom said everyone started looking around the room when I started singing.
Yeah.
Like all the parents started
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
like, is everybody seeing this?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't remember that. I don't
Oh,
remember
boy.
being like particularly good. I think I'm always been so hard on myself that I just remember like loving it and wanting to be good at it.
you
But I
were.
certainly never felt like, oh, I'm nailing this.
You were spot on, absolutely spot on. And it was quite obvious to me that, wow, this could happen. And then that led to you going to Frenchwood's
Summer camp.
where every single week you got the lead role, or every 3 weeks you got the lead role. And I kept swearing, I'm not coming up to Hancock, New York again.
I'd be like,
for
but Dad,
another
I'm
show."
in Guys and
But
Dolls.
I'm in
But
Guys and
Dad,
Dolls, I
I'm in
got the lead
Barnum.
role. Yeah.
But Dad, I'm in
Exactly.
How to Succeed. And you would have to keep driving up.
Tearing my hair out. It's another weekend going.
Is that
but
what happened? Sorry. That's all my fault.
Partly, yeah. But that was really an amazing sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So all the roles you've played and all the things that you've played, okay, what would be your dream role
For the future.
for the future? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if, I don't know how I feel about talking about my dreams anymore. It's funny, you know, when you're so young, you cry them out in public. And then you get older and you realize, you know, maybe you should preserve those things for destiny and other people. But I will say the roles that interest me, and instead of one singular role, I would say Kate and Kiss Me Kate interests me.
You did that beautifully, though, at Sag Harbor.
Thank you.
That was, I still hear
loved
about it. My patients, you know, all my patients are in Long Island, and half of them saw that. Okay?
Ah,
And I hear
I
about it all
love
the
the
time.
character, and
Yeah.
I'm going to get to sing that at Symphony Space a little bit. They've done some new lyrics and things for Broadway now to make it more modern. You know, I wrote about musicals like that in the New York Times. I wrote an article in July, as you know, about misogyny in the musicals and
Right,
so on. So
right.
these old musicals, I like the idea of getting in there and playing controversial things that are more mature and seeing if I can give some more modern, strong interpretations. Desiree in Little Night Music, Mame. Maybe Mrs. Lovett one day, make meat pies out of people. And this weekend, I actually got to do a role I didn't know was my dream role. I played the baker's wife
In Into the Woods,
in
yeah.
Into the Woods,
Yeah.
a concert version with a big Broadway orchestra, conducted by John McDaniel, who's major.
Yep.
And the baker's wife is the best part. So, you know, there's the ones you think you want, and then there's the little surprises that other people cast you, and you go, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever experienced. Into the Woods is great.
Yeah.
So great. So anyway,
So now also you're into writing. Where does
like-
that going to fit in your
in the
your-
big picture,
in
I
your
don't know.
future? Yeah.
I've always been interested in writing. I mean, even when I was a little girl, I always had a journal. So I always captured my emotions or the day or the details of a day into journals. I do that less and less, again, as you know, now that I'm a mom and so on, and I don't really have time. But I've ingrained in myself a love of sort of trying to organize my emotions in words. I think I've always had so many emotions that even with the journal as a little girl, it helped me organize my emotions. Now, as a performer and a public figure or something in my business, but also in a really, really difficult business. I mean, the inside life of an actor is so full of, I mean, this is an elegant moment. We're here, we're having a lovely interview, I'm well dressed and so on, but the average day is, horrible, or it can be. There are auditions and training and disappointments and just things to navigate, things to organize. It's just, it looks so easy, but it's so hard, And so when the New York Times approached me to write for them, they had read one of my interviews with someone else about how hard I had worked to try to get some television work, and then had worked on Billions, and then this kind of funny thing where I had to have a love scene with one of my Yale teachers, who's now also an actor, Austin
Who was
Pendleton.
in my class, by the way.
He was a
He was in my
classmate of
class. He was
yours
a
at
classmate
Yale
of
in
mine, yeah.
1961.
Right,
And then I
exactly.
showed up at the set of Showtime television on Billions, and I had to have a romance scene with my old teacher and your old friend. It was so weird. And I wrote this wacky, I had an interview, and the New York Times read the interview. It was funny and absurd. The things that actors end up, the situations we end up are absurd. And they said, we think you could write. Just write. What would you like to write about? And I said, oh, there's nothing to write about. Well, what's going on in your life? I said, there's nothing going on in my career at the moment. And they said, I said, I was just offered a part that I'm basically too old for. And he said, that's interesting. I said, that's interesting? I said, yeah, I used to be an ingenue, but now I'm, 46 years old, and they still want me to play 26. I'm going to get arrested and put in jail, right? And so that's the article. The first article I did for the New York Times was about aging as an ingenue. There's a knock at the door, and the ingenue police have come to take me away. Okay? Obviously,
What's the sentence?
Obviously, you read it. The
Yeah,
sentence,
of course
there
I
were a
read it.
lot of sentences, I think, that came out of that.
No, the sentence when they put you in jail.
Oh, the sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the sentence.
Yeah, no.
Oh, what's the sentence? I think you're thrown out of show business. You made a bad judgment, So anyway, I made the judgment to be in.
Or you get roles of the witch or something like that.
Well, someday.
Oh,
Well, that's
witch.
what I hope.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mary Martin was 46 when she did The Sound of Music. So I sort of sorted through that in my first piece. And then that went well. And I did another piece about the odd experience of being an actor on the Playbill cruise, which is a ship, cruise ship, with fans on it, theater fans, hundreds of them, and you're out at sea with them. It's an unusual experience because you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you have to, before you leave port and go into the ocean, you all have to prepare for your death together. They put you in the life vests, and we have to discuss how we will all die together if it were to happen, jump overboard, and all this. This is the craziest thing to do with your fans. So I wrote all about this in the New York Times, that I imagined singing Sondheim as my evening gown billowed in the sea. Luckily, we all survived.
Yep.
And the next piece I wrote was about misogyny. And the next piece was the Requiem to Michel Legrand, which was a couple weeks ago.
Which is beautiful.
Thank you.
Really
I loved
was.
Michel Legrand. So thank you about the writing. The writing's been great, and those have been the topics. And
So also I wanted to ask you, when I perform, and I don't perform very often, but I perform, and I'm really wound up. Okay,
I've seen you.
I get really,
Nervous.
kind of nervous and all that. And I remember when
less so.
maybe less so because I practice more than I used to. And I remember backstage when I was playing a Mozart concerto with the orchestra, and I'm getting ready to go on, and one of my doctor friends, who also was on the program, said to me, he said, just remember, Mike, if you screw up, nobody's going to die. Yeah, that's true. Nobody's going to die, and that sort of, relaxed me. But I wanted to know about you. Do you still get stage fright?
Did I ever get stage fright?
That's the question. That's the question. You never seemed like you did.
Well, now with 3 kids, I'm more the stage is more relaxing than life, right? Because nobody can ask me to do anything except sing a song, or 25 songs.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh, this is my time,
Right.
It's like other people go, I don't know, to yoga or something, and my music is a sanctuary from the responsibilities of being a mom and all that. But I'll tell you, the best performance tension advice that I ever got came via, of all people, my brother-in-law, John McEnroe, the great tennis player. As you obviously know, we all grew up together with the McEnroe family, and Patrick, the youngest brother, was Mike, my brother's best friend. I've now married Patrick. We've been married 20 years. But John McEnroe was talking to me and Patrick. He said, I was at Springsteen's dressing room yesterday, Bruce Springsteen. And just by happenstance, John McEnroe was telling an anecdote to me and Patrick. We had to be at a tennis match because I never see John otherwise, really, except for Christmas, whatever. But John came up to me and was like, "Yeah, it was just amazing. I was just hanging out with Springsteen in his dressing room." Springsteen said the key to performance is you got to have 2 thoughts, and they have to be in perfect balance at all times. The first thought is, tonight is the most important night of your life. The other thought is, hey, it's only rock and roll. And he said those two thoughts have to coexist. If one thought is more dominant than the other, you're lost. In other words, if it's too much, hey man, it's only rock and roll, no one's going to die today, then your performance stinks. If it's too much, tonight's the most important night of your life, people are going to feel that.
Right.
So you really kind of have to find that balance of like really matters and really it's not brain surgery.
Yeah.
But they both have to be there. So I don't know, in some ways that's like a impossible
I like that idea.
Zen conundrum. But
I like that idea. It's the most important night of your life because you're essentially saying I'm going to give you everything I have.
Everything that I have.
And I think as a performer, you have to give everything you have. Okay?
Right. And forgive
Otherwise-
yourself, though, at the same time, so that it can be free.
Yeah.
Because if you hang on that wire, you'll be so afraid of falling.
Yeah.
You can't really look down. You just have to care
So
lightly.
So you are an actress, you are a singer, you're a mother, a lot of other things, but you're also, and this I use as the greatest compliment, you're a musician. Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, to me, they're all gods to me, the Beethovens and all that sort of thing. And as you know, I've said to you that I think that Sondheim is the Mozart of our generation. Okay. And when you created that album of the Sondheim, and I've said to you before, I think it's the greatest thing you ever did. Okay.
Thank you.
I think you stepped into a classical world. Okay. I think you really did. I think it's a classic. Okay. It's as good music as anything I've ever heard. Okay. So I compliment you on that. I think it's great. But I think it's put you there, and that's an album that I think is a landmark album.
Oh, thank you.
I really do
Thank
think
you.
so.
I mean, it's the concept of the record is really focused. Like I knew what I wanted to say about Sondheim's Sublime. I was an art history major in college.
Yes.
And the idea of the sublime, I don't really know about, you can't talk about like if this thing is a major accomplishment and so on, but I know it was a specific accomplishment. I set out to put the sublime closer to Sondheim, to try to, what the sublime was in art history with like Turner's paintings and other paintings of that time, 18th century Britain, it was the idea of things that are so beautiful that they're immeasurable, that they're beautiful and mixed with terror, fearful things. Things like the paintings were shipwrecks and volcanoes and great acts of nature. You see the sun and it's terrifying and beautiful and overwhelming. Things that are so that it cause so much feeling the mind can't contain it. I really feel that with Sondheim. I sometimes feel like there's no measure to how emotional his stuff is and how conflicted it is.
Yeah.
Life is it's not romantic like Michel Legrand is, mostly just beautiful, right? But Sondheim is going in one direction and the other, and there's this clash. So I tried to put an art history idea, which has also been written about by many classical people. I mean, you mentioned Mozart, but when I was doing a little research, even for this program, I was thinking about classical music. Wagner wrote an appraisal of Beethoven and said that his music was aesthetically beautiful, but actually approached the realm of the sublime, that it caused pain to listen to it. It actually can cause you pain, terror and pain. It is overwhelming in that way. I think Sondheim is so beautiful, it's painful. And that's what I was trying to explore in my album. I didn't explore all his wacky humor, all his neurotic characters. My Sublime record was really the losing my mind, Ascend in the Clowns, the issues of marriage. What do you say to your children when you die? What do you want them to remember? Love, sensual things, just anything that was so exquisite but could cause you pain, not so much clever stuff.
Do you think there have been, because in your career, do you think you've made sacrifices?
Do I think I've made sacrifices for my career?
Maybe not.
I think my life was sort of defined from that day, being at On Your Toes, that it was inevitable I was going to always want to be a part of it in any way I can. I
It
think
still
I've made
rides with you, doesn't it, that night?
that night. There was so much beauty and happiness in that theater, and I think that I've made sacrifices because I was willing to get broken a bunch of times and get fixed because I wanted to go back. And those are sacrifices because I didn't just say, you know what, this isn't working. Show business, you're killing me, you know.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. The rejections, the roles not gotten, and all that stuff. The roles you've got have been amazing. I mean, people would die for what you've been able to get in the roles. But I've seen you not get them.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. There's
and
so
yet
much
you
loss.
You bounce. I don't know how you do it.
I don't either.
Well, you know, I didn't get that role, but I've got 5 more auditions next week.
Yeah.
You know, and you're on, moving on. I don't know how
Keep
you have the
going.
strength to do that.
Well, I may have married the right guy because Patrick always talks about tennis as being about the next ball.
The next ball.
The next ball. Do not focus on the ball you lost because the tennis match is made of a lot of reactions and a lot of variability, and you cannot control the one you missed, the serve you didn't get. So Patrick has been an amazing husband because he's always talked to me about, I'm going to cry, about perseverance and just the next ball, the next ball. So I just keep, you know, I let the points go by that I lose, and you know, you got to love the game. Patrick also talks about. You got to look at Patrick's career. He was not John McEnroe, right? And his mother used to say, maybe you shouldn't play tennis. You're not John. And Patrick loved the game. And I married a guy who loved the game.
But there have been other inspirations that was on your toes.
Oh, you mean just like life inspirations? Well, there's you, there's Mom.
Wasn't there an actress that you met?
Yes. Well, Mom was one of the, you know, if not the greatest, really specific fire under my life, because every day Mom took me to auditions. Every day she took me to dance class. Every day she was tracking my passion and enjoying it. Mom loves to laugh. She loves to dress up. And we were at a restaurant as a family, and Mom saw Marion Seldes. We were at the Café des Artistes, probably having a special occasion, because again, we didn't go to these places much. But we were there, and she was there, and Mom spotted her and said, go over to her. That's a great actress. Go over. She said, I said, what should I say? I was little. I had to be 12. Again, it was that same year, maybe 13. I was a young girl. Go over to her and ask her what to do to become an actress. And I went over to Marion Seldes, and I said, hi, my name is Melissa, and I would love to be an actress. And what do I do? And she just turned to me and she said, live. And I came back to the table and sat down next to you and Mom, and I was like, okay. She said, live. And I think Mom was like, that's true, you know, or something like that. You know, Mom rolls with everything. Yeah. And I've spent my whole life trying to further understand that one syllable. Yeah. Live, you know. She's no longer with us. I met her, and I got to know her, and over the years, I got to really know Marion Seldes, and I told her the story. She says, did I say that? She was so glad she touched a little girl's life, you know, and there I was, a woman. I'd been in all these Broadway shows. I said, Marion Seldes, I want to tell you, my mom told me to go up to you when I was young. Did I say that? She says. So always kissing and so on. So she turned into just another human being that I know, but she was kind enough to give me profound, strange advice, you know. And I will, I've always told young people that, you know, so I can pass the mystery and the, you know, cryptic mystery on, you know.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to hear what you said about all the inspiration you got from Mom, the support you got from Mom, okay? Oh. And I remember, boy, she was in that car with you every time.
I mean, constantly, let's face it. You know, and I have 3 daughters now, and I think to myself all the time, how can I do for my kids what she did for me? The combination, our house, you know, not perfect, but our house was full of love of the arts.
Absolutely.
You know.
And we thank Mom for that, because I was the doctor off somewhere in the emergency room all the time.
But you loved music and you brought it to the house.
Yeah.
I think it's a group effort here. But and Mike became, you know, a great musician, and Melanie is a great artist, and you know, so I think you did good.
Thank you, baby. You've been a wonderful daughter.
Oh,
been
this
fun.
is sweet.
Awesome.
It was fun.
Yes.